And we are live. Welcome to a later than usual edition of Stack Your Live. This is Matt. I apologize for this week. I had to do first day of school things. So, joined as always by RJ. With RJ. RJ, how are you tonight?
Well, because it's the beginning of football season, I have football over the monitor. I have my fantasy stats up, and we're talking credit cards. So tonight is basically perfect.
There you go. Yeah, the only thing that could be better is if we got a leak of everything that's going to happen in 2 weeks. And if we got a leak of everything that's going to happen on Tuesday.
Look,
Actually, most of the 2 weeks are done.
I'm conflicted, right? Like, on one side, I want them to change the platinum as little as possible because it gives me a ton of value, right? Like, it gives me the ability to have the value that I currently have with my card. So them changing it lightly is good. On the other hand, I kind of wanted them to take a bigger swing with what the CSR failed to do, right? Like, I wanted them to be like, we see your stupidity. Here's our answer with like a hard and fast sledgehammer that like disrupts. But I knew that wasn't going to happen. But I kind of wanted them to just a little bit.
So that raises a kind of fun question for me because it looks like we're going to see that lower tier, right? That first do no harm, kind of just add a couple of things here and there. Mm-hmm. The Lululemon credit, which I would actually find some use out of, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Going to 600 on the FHR credit, splitting it semi-annual. $400 on Resi makes all the sense in the world. Those things all make sense. That at $895 kind of works, but that begs the question: they had there was 4 months. Did they spend those 4 months just debating whether or not to do take the big swing? Because I don't think you're going to miss with the big swing with AmEx fans, right? Or did they say we could have done a big swing, but we have other things in line to not worry about the big swing as much?
So I think we're going to find out once the other changes come, right? Like, if they take a big swing with the green, or Lord forbid they update the business green, if they start doing stuff like that, then it'll be like, okay, they kept the platinum viable. They kept the platinum as a good card, especially if they manage to do FHR with not having the 2-night minimum. If they manage to do a $600 credit without the minimum being 2 nights, I think that's a win in a way that a lot of people who are currently with Chase might come to AmEx, right? So some of it is, I think they don't want to, they had other things in mind, right? Like, they didn't know what the CSR was going to be until the CSR launched. I'm sure they have, spies is too wrong of a word, but I'm sure they have some idea, right? Like, they can go online and see the leaks as much as anybody.
Oh, I'm sure there's product managers at AmEx who go golfing with product managers at Chase.
Right. So, like, they had an idea. I don't think they were blindsided. What I will say is, I think it really does depend on what the other cards are, right? Like I was saying, if the green is great, if the green is 3x on a couple of things like it is now, and then 1.5 base, then that changes things, right? And maybe they don't want to mess with the platinum because they have people running 250,000 through it. So they don't want to put it there. They want to put it on a different card, right? Or they come out with a no annual fee, 1.5 MR points per dollar, or a 2x MR points per dollar personal card, right? Until we see what the rest of the year looks like, I don't think we can judge the platinum. I think we're going to be able to judge it compared to the CSR, because we have to, right? Like, those are the 2 top end premium cards. The Venture X, yes, but the Venture X is falling lower because of the price, right? And it's just a 2x everything card.
And so it's losing its main
it's
thing.
losing the lounges. So I think we're going to be able to judge it on that, but I don't think until, January of 26 can we actually judge the Chase refresh or the Amex refresh. Because if the CSP on the Chase side comes out super strong, because that was always the plan, then yeah, but maybe the Apple decides they don't want to announce it until their thing in September, which changes when they do we don't know that stuff, right? Because maybe Apple said, yeah, you can announce this in July. And then they're like, you know what? We want to wait till September because that fills our slate out. Well, Apple is very good at putting things into contracts and then cashing in on those things that you don't think they were going to pull. Right. So it's possible Apple screwed up. It's possible Apple wasn't going to go with Chase and then pivoted, went with Chase. And that's why things have been so scattershot, right? Like there's a lot of background we're just never going to know. So I think that until we get those final cards, until we get the 2 Freedoms and the CSP on the Chase side, until we get the rest of the changes on the Amex side, it's really just hard to know how the lineups are. Because again, the CSP could change 1 or 2 things and actually really complement the CSR if you're into that ecosystem. They could change the green, literally take dining off, put 1.5 everything on the green, change nothing else. Don't add a credit. Maybe they'll add Resi because it's Amex. Add, a Resi credit, bump it up to a $200 or $199, $195, whatever annual fee, and people will be happy. Is it all they could do? No. Is it everything they should do? Probably not. Is it something Amex could do to say, now you have a reason to have the green, the gold, and the platinum all together? Absolutely. Right? Like there's ways they can adjust things that could be great. Or they could just say, we're going to refresh the green by giving you a credit, raising the price, and that's all you get. So I don't know what it's going to do as far as change things, but I don't think we can judge it completely until the dust settles.
No, that makes a fair amount of sense. Couple comments in the chat, and real quick, just some quick acknowledgments. Hey, Clinton, double. One Meow Mix with the Meowdy. Kirby watching CD Lamb not score touchdowns yet. Tariq is in the chat. Thank you so much. We got Ron in the chat. Israel Nevis saying, don't forget to hit the like. Let's support our team. Thank you so much. So Clinton mentioned that he's gotten his paper notice in the mail about his new annual fee. He was surprised that it was 4 months later than he was expecting. So he's got a little bit more time to play with the update. So he's pretty good about that. He's feeling pretty good about that. And he says he's going to cool his jets until the dust settles, not make any rash changes on the CSR, which absolutely makes sense.
Yeah. I
think there's way more coming from Chase. There is the CSP, which may or may not change. Folks have gotten, booklets, the same booklets that they got with the CSR. The claims on Reddit, because Reddit is the all-knowing universe, obviously, was that the only thing that was being mentioned was the point boost. And you don't send that sort of cardstock brochure with multiple pages if all you're doing is point boost.
Right.
To me, right? Now, if that's the case.
Mailing is expensive, guys.
Yeah.
As somebody who sends mail as part of their day job, I have to send notices and things. Mail is expensive and also legally required in certain ways. I doubt point boost rises to the threshold of you have to give them an entirely new booklet. Maybe it does. I don't know. But my guess is there is more involved.
Yeah. But I got that same paper notice that Clinton got about my CSR. I know when my annual fee hits, so it's oh, okay, that date, no worries. So I have a little bit of time, but I'm going to try to use that time wisely because, I'm still not 100% sure where I'm going with so many TVs, where I'm going with it just yet. Clinton also mentions he got a notice on his Freedom Unlimited today that the interest rate was being jacked up. Never pay interest, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, when you're out of that 0% phase, don't pay interest.
So this is a little bit off topic, Matt, but it's something I think could be a little bit of an interesting conversation. I get a lot of
I'll
people.
topic us.
I know, right? I mean, it is still credit cards, so we're in the right vein. I get a lot of people when they ask, like when I have friends who know that I do credit cards, so they know I know what I'm talking about, right? Like, or at
Mhm.
least as much as I know what I'm talking about, right? Um, one of the first things out of their mouth is, I need a credit card with low interest, or I want a credit card that's not 29% interest, right? Like, it's here's the thing, because I don't even know what the interest rates are on my cards, right? Like, because I don't pay interest, right? I know the one card right now, I have the Cash Plus that has 0 APR, because I got the welcome bonus when I signed up for it. But like, I don't I looked up the interest on my, and they're all stupid, right? It's like 25, 27, 29%. Do you
Yep.
run into that? Because I don't know if it's like just people who don't know how to credit. And when I say don't know how to credit card, I'm not trying to be pejorative. I'm just, in their minds, it's an inevitability, so they want to keep it low. Like, I run into it so much, and it's not just women. The women ask more than men, because I think most of the time women tend to do budgets for the household. I know the credit card community is heavy in men, but statistically, from what American averages are, women tend to be the people who actually do budgets and households. So I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's just like, in their mind, they see the scary number, even if they don't actually ever pay interest. They just see the scary number and are scared that if they ever did, they'd be raked over the coals. But I get that a lot of, what's a credit card that I can use for X, Y, and Z that's low interest?
Yeah, I haven't come across that very much. Most of my dealings with credit cards are just like, I need to avoid those, or I have a past with them, and I'm not, I don't want to get back into it. Now, having hey John R, how's it going? I haven't had those sorts of conversations, but if somebody is asking about low interest credit cards, one, you can always steer toward the 0% no annual fee cards as a way to, like, here's your training wheels is condescending to say, but like, here's a card that has 0% interest for purchases and balance transfers. If you have a large purchase coming up and you want to space it out, the best thing to do would be to get this card.
Right.
You don't have to worry about a personal loan. You don't have to worry about the personal loan interest, which can also be jacked up really high, although personal loans are usually lower interest than credit cards. But don't worry about that. You can, you don't also want to recommend like BNPL, because BNPL doesn't, doesn't create the need to budget. It just furthers the dopamine hit along the way. So,
and to be clear, like, they're not looking for 0% APR. Like, it's more of a, I usually pay my credit cards off, but what if, right? Like, I think most Americans are so conditioned with the what if of
yeah.
that, because a lot, like, I have friends and I tell them where I'm going on vacation. The Hawaii trip, I've got Denver coming up. I'm trying to figure out something for the middle of the month. Please just let me be in a hotel myself for 2 days. Right? Like, so they see how I travel. So they want like Hilton Surpass, gold, platinum, like they want cards, but they're so trained, I think, as Americans, of like, don't have interest rates, because like, I don't know if and I've tried to dig into some of this. Sometimes it's difficult, but like, sometimes I think they're just assuming that there's going to be an interest charge, whether they pay or not, right? Because the minimum payment is so burned into how Americans talk about debt and credit cards. But they want my lifestyle, but they also want low interest, or at least they don't know how to untangle those two things, right? Like, and I try, but unless I sit down and give them a full, back to basics on APR, like, it's hard to, and some of them I've gone pretty in depth with, and then like 3 months later, they're like, yeah, I got this card because, it's low interest, but I'm not seeming to get rewards for it. I'm like, well, the low interest is the reward. Good job.
Yeah.
Like, so it becomes this thing of, and yes, Filmo, I understand they do fuel our ability to travel. I get that. And for people I don't know, I'm fine with that. I try for the people I know that have a genuine interest to help them. I am helpful. It's why I have a podcast, Filmo.
Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that like interest will happen, right?
Yes.
If you're not able to hit like the full statement credit, like pay as much of the statement balance as possible so that if there is rolling over interest, like you would rather pay, I would rather pay like interest on $100 from a $1,200 statement balance, right? I don't have the full 1,200. I can do 11. I'll eat the, it's $24 versus doing the minimum payment, and now I'm doing the interest on minimum payment of $1,200 is something like $20, because it's 1%. So whatever, we'll say $20, right? So I don't want to pay interest on $1,180 when I could pay interest on $100. So if there is a point where like interest becomes a thing, at least get as much of the statement balance covered so that when that interest is invoked, you're paying as little as possible. That is one thing that you can bring up. Like, interest sucks, don't get me wrong, it does, but if you're outside of that 0% APR period, like you can make your purchases based on what card has the lowest interest that I'll have to like deal with over time. Now, everything right now is variable, so it's prime plus the bank sets the rate and it's based on your credit. So I can't say that like everything's going to be super guaranteed at one thing or another. One card you can get over time, like one card you can get relatively early, and it's mostly used for balance transfers. It's mostly used for its 0% APR for purchases. It doesn't do rewards. But one of its interesting powers is that every year you spend at least $1,000 through the card, as long as you make your payments on time for that year and like you pay everything off in full, they'll reduce the interest rate like up to 2% every year until like it hits Chase's minimum. And that's the Slate Edge. So like that's a really interesting benefit of that card. If somebody's not interested in rewards, somebody's not interested in cash back, but somebody's like really dead set on getting their interest rate, their APR on a card as low as possible, Chase Slate Edge, you can minus 2% on your interest rate every year as long as you spend at least $1,000 through the card and pay everything off in time and in full. Then you can get yourself to a place where it's like, that's my I'm going to have floating interest. I don't feel like getting a 0% card. It's going to float for like 2 or 3 months. I can pay, I can cover the purchase, but interest is going to be a thing. But my interest rate now on my Slate Edge is down to like 15%.
Yeah.
Compared to 30 for all your other cards.
I think the hard part for some people is credit card culture in America sucks. Like, it's great for us, right? The people who use it in the way that we use it, right? We pay our bills off on time. We use the points to travel in a certain way. Things like that, right? We found community. But credit card culture in the US sucks. Like, it does.
Yes.
People spend too much. People will, go to Costco, buy goods just to sell them, to get the points, to have them sit there because they're afraid of spending their 40 billion thank you points, right? Like, credit card culture can suck. Credit card culture is also, having 20 grand in credit card debt that you're paying the minimums on because, well, like life, right? Like medical bill. I know people with credit card debt, and almost all of them have medical debt as part of that credit card debt, right? Because that's what they got. That I think that it makes it hard because when I explain, I don't know the interest rate on my cards because I don't pay interest. And I have these cards with annual fees. Like, the annual fees is another thing. But like I I have the American Express Platinum card, right? Like that's the easiest card for me to use as an example to people because everybody knows what an Amex Platinum card is. Everybody knows an Amex Platinum card is expensive. Those are two things that you could ask any adult in America, and they probably are going to get one, definitely a shot of getting both, right? And I said, this card is valuable to me for, the reasons that I've explained for a year and a half on the podcast, or a year and change on the podcast. I pay the annual fee, and then I don't think about the annual fee until the next time the annual fee posts. And then I pay it, and I go on with my life. I use the card in this way to get this benefit. And yes, am I prepaying? Am I whatever? Yeah, sure, whatever. But they see credit cards as, this is my emergency fund. This is whatever. And I think that's the hard part when you're talking to normal people about credit cards is there's a fundamental difference in language. There's a fundamental difference in experience. Kirby said people think that he's on the verge of bankruptcy for the amount of cards. I sat down with a relative of mine once and I laid all of my active credit cards on the kitchen table, which is, I think at the time it was 13, maybe 14, right? Because I was changing out what cards are in which wallet. I have my primary wallet, I have my backup wallet in my backpack, and then I have the cards that don't leave the house. And explaining the cards to people, they're like, oh my God, you have so much debt. And then I pulled up my app on my phone, which I track all my expenses in, and I showed them my bank balance, my card balances for each of the cards. And they're like, oh, you're not in debt. I'm like, no, because I pay my bills. And it's like, and I don't say that to be condescending. I don't say that to be whatever. I say that because that is the perception in America, that if you've got a bunch of cards, like a person might have a platinum and a gold, or a CSR and a freedom, or whatever. But the perception is so ingrained that lots of credit cards, it's like the 80s example of a welfare queen with her bunch of credit cards, and the government is paying for everything that, Reagan did to screw over people that actually needed help. But that is the perception that Americans have taken, except for some weird edge cases. Like if you have a premium travel card because you travel, that's acceptable. But if you have 15, like I currently do, then you're obviously, on the verge of bankruptcy. And it's a weird place that our niche lives in, because you can get in serious trouble. I have been in the past in serious credit card debt. I was young and stupid, and life lifed, and I went, I guess I'll just pay the minimum payment for the next year and a half, and then went, oh, I messed up, which is why I do pay everything in full now. Nothing is a better teacher than looking at your balance and going, oh dear God. Nothing replaces that feeling of existential dread. So it's interesting to me of our niche and how we talk about credit cards versus how the public sees them. How the public sees traveling is, I told somebody I was going to Hawaii, and they asked me how, and they were kind of mad at me when I explained that I was using, the mechanisms I was using points, I was doing it this way and that way, because to them, why can you, and it was on their end. They're like, but we, cause we make the same, why can you do this and I can't? And it's because I know how to, right? So it becomes this really weird thing of, we get so comfortable asking questions in our Discord. The questions we ask are kind of wild sometimes. And I'm not saying we shouldn't, because we all have sort of signed on to sorry, I'm also watching football, guys. We have signed on to have these conversations, and I've seen people basically decline to answer in the chat, and it's fine, right? I will give our chat a lot of credit. We are very good. If somebody says, I'm not comfortable answering that, backing off, which is great. But we ask wild questions. We ask genuinely wild questions to an outsider, not wild to any of us, but to an outsider. The fact that we will post our mobile wallets in a channel in the Discord is wild to people. like, because they think that somehow that's going to steal our identity. Again, people do not understand how some of this works, but the idea of it is just absurd to people. And I find that is the hardest thing of getting people into the game, or the people who are fresh into the game have some really bad habits that can be exacerbated if they watch the wrong kind of content that sort of feeds those bad habits, and then they find themselves in a bunch of credit card debt that they didn't really have before. And yeah, Keith, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Some people feel like points and miles is cheating the system. They need to get over that because the banks are cheating us every day.
Here's the thing. I agree. I understand why they feel that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the idea that I'm sitting on almost 800,000 Hilton points right now. Like, I could go to basically any Hilton in the world for a standard room. I might only get one night, but I can go to basically any Hilton in the world on a standard room right now. I might not want to pay what I have to do to fly to be at the place. I might only stay for a night or two, but I can go basically to any Hilton in the world. That doesn't, if I wasn't me and I knew roughly what I made, like, why? Like, why should I get that opportunity? Right? Like, it feels disarming, right?
Hmm.
Again, anybody can get into this. Anybody, like, even if you make 25,000 a year, you can still carve out certain niches that will help you travel better. You might not travel how I do. I have said I pay for first class because I am in a position in my life where I will pay for convenience. Full stop. I get it. If I had to fly from my home airport to LaGuardia, which is an hour and 15-minute flight, my ass would still be in first class. I do not care. It is a non-negotiable in my life. I do not care. Why I would just fly to LaGuardia and not take Amtrak is a completely separate conversation. But, right, like, if I'm going to be on a plane, I'm going to be in first class, unless it's a true medical emergency or something just so completely out of my control that I don't get to decide that.
Yeah, the Amtrak was just a pain in the ass, though, because you have to do the Amtrak all the way down to Penn, and then you go.
Right, but if I was going to Manhattan, like,
Yeah.
Amtrak would make more sense. Like, it's more of a if I have to get to the city, just the nebulous city. As everybody above, anybody above Poughkeepsie, I think, and probably even there, like, it's just the city. I had somebody ask me once, what city? And it took me like 30 seconds to find my answer because it's just the city.
The city, yeah.
Look, Keith, I'm going to Hawaii and I'm going in December and I am risking all of the sunburns. I have already promised I will take a picture on the beach in jeans because I don't wear shorts. No, so Clinton, you're absolutely right. I happen to live on a straight shot to the city. I'm upstate New York, so it's literally just a straight shot. It's actually, I want to say it's like, I can do it for under $100 to get to the city, and I don't have to drive, which is the nice feature.
Well, the insane part is that Amtrak line, that Empire Corridor from like New York Penn.
It's the Ethan Allen.
Oh, the Ethan Allen. Okay.
I'm on the Ethan Allen line.
Yeah, after Albany, it's like the Albany to NYC is, I think it's called the Empire. It doesn't matter. That is practically commuter rail.
Yeah. Oh, it is. I've traveled it. It's great. It's one of my, like, if you want to see the Hudson River, take Amtrak. I'm not joking. Like, you get the most beautiful view of the Hudson. Like, I did it in the fall a couple of years ago. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. But anyway, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, out of curiosity, with this roomette, how many Amtrak points would that cost? Because I'm sure you could just buy the Amtrak points.
Keith, look, I've been there, man. Not in Waikiki, but I've been there. I step outside on a cloudy day and I come inside red. Like it's my life.
That's rough. I interrupted you, and then.
Sorry, I was going to read Double's question.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. I don't know if there are rumors on the business platinum. I know they added the Hilton credit, but I have not seen any actual rumors on the business. Everything has been on the personal.
The only thing that I saw in the business for sure after the Hilton credits, the change to the Dell credit, was the FHR credit will be going on the business for sure.
Which makes they're not going to have two separate FHR credits like that. So that makes.
And it's FHR and hotel collection, so you can do both. And I think it's always been FHR and hotel collection, but like because it's FHR,
everybody talks about it as FHR. I think I have decided next year I'm going to try a new thing, Matt. I don't know if I've told you about this.
There.
I am going to try. So I want to get Delta status is one of the things I have to try to get. I get silver automatically, and then gold and platinum require some effort. Not hard effort. I just have to be thoughtful. Mm-hmm. I am considering, and of course it's September the 4th, so things can change. And we don't know what things are going to look like with certain pieces. I think I'm going to try to do Delta stays when they have the sale as my first option. So pre-plan everything I can when they have the Delta stays, get you MQDs. And then otherwise, with Hilton and IHG, I'm just going to try to book direct if I can. If not, I'm going to try to go through the AmEx portal, which I do not usually use. And I am not a portal person. Like, I hate portals, but I want to try it, right? Like, and the only way for me to try it is to just go, well, I guess I'm doing this now. So I think for regular IHG, I would probably do the portal. If I'm staying in an Intercontinental, I want my ambassador status. Like, that would be like, ambassador is nice enough where I'm good, but I'm going to try to do hotel collections or FHR as much as possible if I go through the portal, because why not? And then try to portal everything. I will see how it works. We'll see if it's feasible. I'm going to try it and just see how it rolls. The Delta one is hard. So here's the thing. If you're flying somewhere, you can get MQDs if you do a rental car. So if I'm going somewhere and I at all want a rental car, or even think I might possibly want a rental car, I will just get the rental car. Because worst case scenario, I drive myself to the hotel and then I don't have to worry about Ubering or lifting at weird times.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to Denver. I'm literally getting a rental car just to get myself back and forth to the hotel. So my friend who will be driving me everywhere else on this trip doesn't have to do that part, right? Like, it works out for me because I'm getting MQDs for it. It's helping me get to platinum. And then I don't have to worry about that particular part of it. If I was in New York City, would I do that? No. Like, I'm not getting a rental car to drive it to another lot to park it at LGA.
Mike, does Acela run through your area? I know Acela runs down to Philly, and I know Acela runs up to Boston. I don't believe Acela runs up to Albany, because the infrastructure on the Hudson River is not awesome.
So here's the thing about Albany. Albany is the capital of New York State, one of the largest states in the country. Mm-hmm. It is, in fact, where the governor lives. Like, she is in Albany a fair bit. It is not what anybody would think of as a capital. Like, because New York City is such the center of everything, like, Albany is, honestly, most of the people who need to come to Albany for any reason, political or just any major reason, they just take the highway because it's not honestly that much faster or that much slower. And it's a fairly easy, like it's an incredibly easy drive once you get out of the traffic of the city up the highway to Albany. And Albany traffic sucks. Albany traffic is fine. Like I've driven in 5 p.m. Albany traffic and it's annoying, but it's not, the city.
Yeah.
So most people just because they have drivers, like they're doing work in the back of the vehicle while somebody is driving them. So
yeah, no. New York City highways are awful. The 20-minute standstill on 787, for whatever reason, there may be a 20-minute standstill on 787, is nothing compared to the LIE, the BQE, the Cross Island Parkway, you name it.
Look, 787 is the nicest parking lot you're going to see. There's some lovely old school houses that you get to look at while you're waiting. It's lovely. Yeah. Like I've seen more traffic driving through Manhattan. Somebody else was driving. I was in the car going through Manhattan than like rush hour in Albany. That is how my state functions, how Matt's state functions, because we share a state. So like there's not an impetus. Like you would think Albany would have a really nice airport because it's the capital of a state that is huge, right? Like that is important in our country, right? Like New York holds a lot of weight nationally, right? You would think it would have a nice airport. It's like I can't get a credit card to get a lounge. There is no lounge there. I think there is one if you're active duty military. They have like a special little place you can go.
Yeah,
there's like a Keurig.
Yeah,
it's basically just a Keurig. Again, sure, let them have it. I'm fine with that. But there's no lounge, right? So like I couldn't switch to the CSR and get a lounge. It's a little more than that, Keith. Like I used to drive it when I went down to Albany every day. Like it can be a pain in the, like you can double your commute home. I was going an hour and a half each way, so it felt longer than that. But yeah, it's not terrible. And no, I just checked the Acela. It's literally like above Boston. It's Westville, Mass, down to DC. So it does not peak anywhere around here. Yeah, but New York is a weird state. New York City holds so much of everything that it's basically like the governor just has a house up here. Like that.
Well, 60% of the population is concentrated in 8 counties: Suffolk, Nassau, Kings, Queens, Richmond, New York, Bronx, Westchester, Rockland, Putnam. Kind of. No, Putnam, there's no people. But like 60% of New York State's population is those like 6 or 7 counties.
Yeah.
Dutchess has a lot of people, but once you get north of Dutchess, forget it. Nobody lives there.
Yeah. Kings, Queens, New York, Suffolk, Nassau, Bronx, Westchester all have more than 1 million people. Erie's got 1 million, but that's where Buffalo is.
Yep.
Monroe is Rochester. That's 750,000. Richmond is 500,000.
Yep.
And
Onondaga will be up there too.
Onondaga is 470. Orange is 411. And then, I mean, Rockland's less than 400,000 and it's down from there. Like Albany is at 320.
Yeah.
So like Albany's not tiny. Like they're Albany and Providence are relatively close in size, but New York City just sucks so much. It's like, if you're in Connecticut, New York is also the city, right? Like New York sucks everything in that little area.
Yep. Anyway, let's go back to credit cards for a second. We have a question from Juan.
Credit cards on this live?
Yeah, well, Juan had a question. I wanted to go back to something from Sleepy Rod, and we'll talk about the AmEx Platinum stuff in just a second. So Juan asked, are 0% APR cards one time only? Like, could you get the Reflect, that's the Wells Fargo Reflect, get the 21-month 0 APR, close it, and apply again, or do you have to wait a bit? I have never seen that be a problem. Like,
Yeah.
you can open the Chase Freedom Unlimited every 24 months. You can do the same thing with the Freedom Flex. They both come with 15-month 0% APRs. They both have their welcome offers. So you could probably, now I don't know about Wells Fargo specifically, right? But there you can cycle multiple 0% APRs. Clinton says for now. Yes, Chase can always change. Who's to say what pop-up Joe won't spread? That is completely fair. Now, I do think the 0% APR portion of things would probably still be like allowed, but they won't give you the 20,000 ultimate reward points from if it's Chase. But you could open like the Slate Edge, do the 18-month, and then go from there. Arnold mentions that he gets 0% APR promos on many of his cards after they have been opened. Yeah, I get 0% balance transfer options like every 6 months on my Capital One cards. I get I haven't gotten 0% purchase in a while, but I know that Discover is one that will give you 0% purchase options every so often if you've held the card for a long time. Yeah. So you can open multiple of them. I just don't know that I would make it a thing, but it is always an option.
So I think one of the things about the difference between welcome offers and 0% offers is banks kind of want you to forget about it, right? Like the nefarious side is banks want you to just get used to carrying a balance. So when it hits, you're still carrying a balance. Which is not great, but it's, the truth of it. Where with points, it costs them. They have to buy the points and give you points, right? Versus just not collecting a little bit of interest in hopes you will collect a lot of bit of interest. So it really is like they're trying to condition you, trying to condition all of us, but 0% is a less costly thing for them, right? Like it is not as hard. So there is that.
Yeah. So you should be able to do multiple, and really there's so many cards with 0% that you can open. Be they 0% purchase, you're going to see way more 0% purchase than 0% balance transfer, but there's always an option somewhere.
I have a love-hate with 0% APR, right? Like on one hand, it is very helpful, especially if you have something just sort of come up, right? On the other hand, like it conditions you not to pay attention. And for like people who are used to balancing things, right? Like I have like as much as I say I hate math, and it is not my favorite topic. I have spreadsheets, like I track my expenses. I know when things are due. I usually don't wait till the date the payment's going to pull. I usually pay ahead. Like as soon as my statement closes, I think it's fair game for me to just pay. Like I don't need to wait the 3 weeks if I have the money. So for me, like I do all of that. If I have a 0%, I'm not worried. It's the people who are just getting into it, who have like 4 0% offers. So they're really not used to paying anything. And then all of a sudden that year and a half has closed. And yeah, it can mess with the credit utilization, Keith. The thing is, credit utilization is one of the spots where it doesn't matter. Like if you pay everything, give it a month or two, things will come back up.
Yeah. So, the rule tends to be utilization ideally for like the highest scores is under 10%, but like if you're under 30, you're going to be fine. Just, and remember, it also does its utilization by card and total utilization as well. Your total utilization can be under 7%. You may get dinged for the one card that's at 30%, but that's a question of like 4 or 5 points, which doesn't really matter, versus like if it's your only card and you're at 60% utilization, that is 30, 40, 60 points. So you have to worry about that.
I had like a 60-point swing like 6 months ago because of life and just things.
Yep.
That was when I was working some welcome offers. So I had a stupid high balance that closed because like you're working a gold or a platinum business. Well, this is longer than that then, but you're working a gold or a platinum business offer. Like, yeah, your balance is going to be real high for a minute. And it closed before I paid it. So like that didn't affect me on the personal side, but I had another welcome offer on a card that was personal and it's same thing, right? So like also if you're just getting into business credit cards or you've been heavy on business credit cards and then you have a personal one and you forget and it closes again. Yeah, they will not usually let you balance transfer Chase to Chase or Amex to Amex. It's got to be across different banks, Daddy Broom.
Yeah. So if you are floating them, like if you open the Wells Fargo Reflect and for whatever reason 2 years later you're looking to move the last of that 0% over because you messed up, like you'd have to open up the Chase Lite Edge or the US Bank Shield or whatever. So you do have to take that. You do have to keep that in mind. Like you can't do within the same bank. You can't do intrabank, but interbank is fine.
Yes.
So
because Americans are really good at understanding inter versus intra.
Our education system at work, our tax dollars at work. Yay.
So here's a thing, Matt, I did today, right? And I'm interested, like, how do you feel about this? Because I'm always interested, like, we talk about hitting welcome offers, whatever, right? My grandmother needed some things online. I am her internet, right? Like, the woman is in her 80s. She is not going to Amazon or Walmart or whatever. She is saying, dear grandchild, go to Amazon or Walmart and get me X, Y, and Z. So I did it. I did some Christmas shopping for her for like, grandparents, y'all. Sometimes they buy you the same figurines every year with a different number on them because, there are kids and grand nieces and nephews and whatever. And that's what grandparents do. So I had to buy her a bunch of stuff. $45 a pop for Precious Memories is a ripoff, but she's been paying it for 40 years and she'll continue to pay for them. Until all of the kids are old enough where she doesn't have to buy them anymore. But anyway, so I paid on my card, on my shopper cash to try to hit the welcome bonus. So I didn't have to expend more money. And she is going to pay me back. It is a weird thing though, right? Like, and with my parents, when we were doing the kitchen stuff, like, I know they're good for it. I know they're going to, but there is always that like slight tension of, hey, you owe me. And this, like, the Precious Moments things were stupid expensive. And she bought a bunch of them. So it was like $800 total that I just like spent today. And I've got to the end of the month before the statement even closes, right? Like, it's fine. She's good for it, right? Like, I'm not worried. But there is always that little bit of weirdness when you very nicely use a relative to hit a sign up bonus. And then you're like, so that money you owe me. Like, again, I could cover it. Like, worst case scenario, like, I just cover it, right? It's fine. I'm good for it. But there is, we talk about it a lot as a community, but like, we don't talk about the actual feelings of it, which is always interesting to me.
Yeah, it's when I cover certain bills and I'm like, oh yeah, I know that my parents would be good for it, but then it's like, oh yeah, could you pay me back now? Like, I recently like sent my mom the, hey, here's what you owe me, and go from there. 0% no balance transfer fee. Ooh,
That is nice.
Attention when I withdraw foreign currency for someone that didn't have an ATM card on their last trip. Had to remind them to pay me in US cash on the last day of the trip. Ooh, rough.
Like, it's, and again, with like my grandmother and my parents, like, it's low stakes, right? Like, I know where they live. Like, I'm just going to show up and be like, hi guys, got that money you owe me?
Yes.
Like, and like my stepdad, like, I bought him, protein shakes today through Walmart Plus so we could just get them delivered. Like, I'm not worried about the $60 it costs for that, right? Like, he'll pay me when he pays me and it's fine. But like, there is, especially when it's a trip, right? Because I am the family trip booker because I don't trust anybody else to book my trips. If I'm going on the trip, I'm booking it. If you guys want to book it and then let me book my portion of it, that's fine. But if I'm going on the trip, I'm booking the trip. So it is sometimes that weird tension of, okay, you owe me $2,000 because I just booked a trip to X place and like, cool. So you're going to pay me when now? Like there is that, and it's with family, it's not as bad. I have had it happen with friends a couple times. And there is that tension of, oh, this is more uncomfortable than I expected it to be. I do not like this feeling.
Yup. All right. So I mentioned that AmEx rumor, right? Real quick, we have this.
Josh?
I'm gonna bring it up to the screen. Hey, Josh. So, RJ, we have this that dropped on Instagram earlier from American Express. So American Express put this up on Instagram. I'm pulling this from the AmEx subreddit because I refuse to join Instagram. I'm on I'm on two of Mark's platforms. I don't want to be on the third.
I'm not on Facebook, so
here we go.
Oh God, that is so pretty.
So it's supposed to be.
I must have it, Matt.
Mirror-like finish.
I don't care what it is. I don't care what the multipliers are. I must possess it. It must be mine.
Well, I'm sure you can order a new one. I just gave my family Venture X authorized user cards to buy things with. I turn them off in the app and turn them back on when they need to use them. Yeah, no, that's fair. Josh is catching up on Stranger Worlds.
It's not, Keith, it's not like the actual buying of things because my cards are on the accounts to like just auto pay. Like that, the mechanism of how they procure the things is not the hard part. It is them giving me the money back after I have put that on my card. Authorized user wouldn't fix that.
So that is the potential new look of the American Express Platinum.
I mean, or it's a different card. Like
could be a different card. Could be that card that comes in over the top.
Because if they do the platinum refresh, and like if you're gonna drop a new card, drop the card and do the platinum refresh at once. Because that way you either have people applying for the platinum, upgrading to the platinum, keeping the platinum, or getting this new card, or all three, or all four. It would make sense for them to do both at the same time. Because then you just own that news cycle. You absolutely just own that news cycle.
Yeah.
And if you do it right, you make Chase look bad.
Not a whole lot of. What if it's actually a new premium card, not a platinum card? Could be. Yeah. Could be. I don't know. That was the latest that dropped today. It was a teaser. It's 16 seconds, and all we have is coming soon. We have an idea that everything's going to drop in 2 weeks.
You know, it'd be interesting, Matt.
Hit me.
You know, it would be very interesting. So right now they have the platinum, which anybody can apply for, right? You got a pulse, a decent credit score, and income.
Even though not so decent credit score.
Right. But you get my point. Like you can get a platinum if you want a platinum. And then you have the Centurion, which is invite only. You've got to spend a stupid amount of money or less stupid in some places, but like you got to spend actual real money to get a Centurion, regardless of where you are. What if they do the Marriott play and you have to have a platinum for a year to be able to either upgrade or apply for this card? Make it where if you want this card, you can have it. But you gotta have either a platinum first, like, you know what I mean? Like, make it to where it is not open for everybody, but it is accessible if you want to pony up for it.
I would love to see them take that a step further and say you can have it if you have an active, yes, 2K annual fee. That could be a possibility. If you want this card, you have to have an active American Express Platinum, but it has to have been active as an American Express Platinum, for at least 12 months.
Yeah.
So like, you couldn't turn your green that you downgraded 6 months ago because you're doing your game, and like they realized that you upgraded yesterday to reactivate this. Doesn't matter how old the card is, but like it has to be a platinum for at least a year.
I mean, that would annoy me because I did the upgrade downgrade with my platinum, but I respect it.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be you have to pay the full annual fee. You don't get to
do the prorated nonsense.
You don't get to do the prorated. You have to pay the full annual fee and the annual fee for this other card. Like because that feels more like Amex of just like, if you give us money, we'll let you do it.
Yeah.
But you have to give us all of the money, not some of the money. But no, I would be very interested in if it, because it creates a system where it's not accessibly open, right? It's not something that anybody can just walk off of the street and get. It's something where you have to show some amount of loyalty to American Express, which they love, but it's something that is above. I don't think they're going to change the look of the actual platinum. I think if they do, it's a special edition, the way they did the Delta cards or the way they did the white gold on the gold card. I don't think they're going to full-time change what the platinum looks like. Especially if they have something called a graphite out there floating in trademark and it looks like a graphite pencil. Like it's that sort of gray color. Like to me, it doesn't make sense. Again, maybe I'm wrong, but the platinum card is iconic for its coloration as much as anything, right? Like it's instantly recognizable. And this card will sort of be, but it is also a middle point between the silvery platinum color and the black centurion. So if you put it at a midpoint between those two things, it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Like watching it again, that is sort of the mirror finish, like mirror metallic.
Josh, I want that cobalt so bad. Don't tease me. Don't tease me. I'm so close to Canada. So close. I mean, it is a beautiful looking card. Like it is gorgeous. Yeah. If I had to put $20 down right now, I would put $20 on it being a new card and not just a refresh color of the platinum.
That could be graphite. It would annoy me that graphite would be the one over the top because I would think catalyst would be the change agent. But
catalyst is the start. It is the start of the reaction. It is not the completion of the reaction.
But it's the start of your journey to.
Yes, which is why you put it as the base $0 annual fee card.
No. Well, maybe.
I took science, Matt. I did science classes. A catalyst is the start. It is not the completion.
Amex doesn't care about no annual fee. Amex doesn't care about the low end.
I understand
Amex doesn't care about the peons. So that's why I would think it would be the start of your move to
the onesie rewards card, Spaceco, is the best looking credit card. I will say that.
Fucking Matt and Oswald.
Spaceco, if you drop that in the Stack Your Lives chat, I may turn it into the Discord art for a week. Maybe. We'll see.
So you're going to prepay $2K for an annual fee. How are most people going to get value? So here's the thing. If it's a 2K,
we don't know what it has.
A lot of people are going to pre-sort themselves to not get that card. This is going to be like the Centurion as an invite-only card, and this being a semi-public. Like, let's say it's a semi-public card, right? And the deal is 2K, right? Most people, like, I would not be in on that card. I'm hard pressed to go to $8.95 on a platinum. Potentially, like, I could make the Lululemon credit work if the FHR is only one night and it's split semi-annual, and I could sort of make that work and get another night at a Marriott and another night at or 2 nights at a Hilton that goes through, or not Hilton, sorry, 2 nights at a Hyatt that goes through American Express. Like, I would do that. We have no idea what sort of credits they'd put on a 2K card. We don't even know what sort of like status they would put on a 2K card.
I mean, if it comes with Delta Silver and Hilton Diamond, that changes the math, right? Like, it depends on what it has.
Yeah. So if it's coming with airline status, if it's coming with, top end hotel statuses, like if it comes with Hilton Diamond and IHG Diamond and Marriott Platinum or Marriott Titanium for $2,000. Now, I'm not saying that's absolutely going to be the case, but like if it came hard at a 2K annual fee, there are people who would go and get it. Or there are people who would sit with a platinum for a year and then get this card. The other diabolical thing we could do is be like, here's this 2K card. You have to hold a platinum for at least a year. Oh, no welcome offer for this card. You can upgrade to this card, sure. You can apply to this card, sure. No welcome offer. You can get your welcome offers. You can get your upgrade, downgrades, whatever. You can get all of that downstream. This card is so beneficial to you, we won't even give you a welcome offer.
I mean, again, I have gotten cards without welcome offers. So for me, I'd be fine. I get people. Here's the thing, like, yeah, like people do a lot of crazy things, but also like, okay, I'm sorry, you had to jump through 8 loopholes to get it. It's on a card now. You don't have to do that in the future. Congratulations. Like, I don't buy in well, people had to do a lot of things, so they're going to be mad. I don't care. You do you. If you wanted the status and you did all of that, and I wanted the status and I applied for a credit card, like, sorry, I waited. I also don't care about Marriott Titanium, but maybe I would like Marriott if I had higher status than gold. Probably not.
Now, again, that was a lot of stuff to get titanium. I get it. I don't see the value in it, but yeah, it would be a nuisance to some folks. But like, again, it also begets the if everyone's elite, no one's elite. So
I mean, if they put silver status on a card above the Delta Reserve, like, would I be annoyed? Potentially. But also, if I could product change and just have silver and not have to have 2 credit cards, would also be happy, right? Like, it's one of those things like, okay, you did a lot to get the status. Sweating for a status is not noble. It's just you decided this was worth it, so you did what you had to do at the time.
I don't know. It depends, because if it's work travel, like that.
I don't ever think of work travel, but yes, you're correct.
Yeah. Like, if it was part of work travel and you got the status and you ended up with lifetime titanium because of the work travel, like, that should not be negated. Yep.
I mean, I get it, but also chances are if you're doing work travel, you're being compensated, right? Like, yes, you're away from your family, you're away from your loved ones. Does it suck? Absolutely at times. But you also took that job. Like,
well, yeah, but
I look, Matt, I am warm and cuddly about a lot of things, but if you took a job where you have to travel and you're going to get something like lifetime status, I think that's like, good job. I am not going to cuddle you and give you some more milk.
Yeah.
I also I'm sorry, like, I travel to my coffee maker for my job. That is as far as I have to travel. But I have chosen a job where I don't travel. Like, and I am compensated like somebody who chose a job where I don't travel. Good Lord, Keith.
Yeah.
Like I look, I have high annual fees. My brain cannot wrap around 6,000. It would be hard for me to get to 6,000.
Yeah, no. Breaking 1,000 is going to be fun for me at some point when I choose to break 1,000, but I'm not going to be breaking 1,000 anytime soon.
I mean, if you keep the CSR, you've got to be really close.
795 plus 99. So I'm still only at like, yeah, I don't have a whole lot of other annual fee cards. Now I may add the Sapphire Preferred if the Sapphire Preferred makes sense.
I look at no annual fee cards and 90%. I feel about no annual fee cards the way Keith feels about personal cards. They don't like the things they offer in most cases. Just my brain goes, that's nice. I don't want to. But I am a person who looks at perks over most other factors, right? Like the reason I have my reserves, the reason I have my platinums, the reason I have a lot of my cards is what do you give me as a status or a perk or whatever. So when I travel, I get to benefit you.
And Wells Fargo refuses to launch the Autograph Beyond. So like until that card launches, I don't know what other big ticket card I'd be getting.
I wonder if they're going to wait for the platinum. If they know the platinum is coming out, if they're just waiting for that to launch first. So if they have to tweak anything, they could possibly do that.
I hope that they're just putting pen to paper with as many transfer partners as they can. I don't know who else they can get. I would love to see them become like, oh, hey, we're not able to get anyone directly, but like we signed up with Rove. We signed on Mesa.
Matt.
What?
I understand you want that. The chances of that happening are about the chances of you becoming the next pope.
I don't know. They're electing Americans now.
They are, but they're from Chicago.
Whatever. I'll find a way. Church used to be a whole lot more liberal in the ways in which they selected people. Well, yeah, I'm not holding my. Yeah, exactly. Probably Boniface.
I love that you know that. But yeah, no, I think that it would be cool. Yes, I think after built, Wells Fargo wants nothing to do with weird partnerships.
Not taking them on for credit cards, just
right, but it's still a weird partnership. I don't think their investors want them to dabble in anything weird.
I need them to do something.
You want them to do something. You don't need them to do something.
Well, I need them to add more partners for content, for compensation. I need
Which is
want
fair.
them to add more interesting partners. But like right now, Wells is like a tertiary system if you play the international flight game or you play the book Delta through Flying Blue, right?
I mean, if you do cashback, they're great.
And if you do cashback, they're great. And if you do cashback to purchase points in an ecosystem, that can also work out pretty well as well. Because my 3 times points on gas can become, 6 Hilton points per dollar. Which just so happens to be the same rate as the Surpass card, which, but I'm not going to say like, oh, well, if you have the Wells Fargo autograph card, it's the same earning rate as the Hilton Surpass for Hilton points. Technically true, but explaining it will make people's eyes glaze over.
It's also like, it's not simple. Like sometimes you can get the same value, but you have to do steps, and those steps, even if they're not hard, add up.
Right.
Especially if there's a timing component.
I would rather see I would rather them do like an interesting partner that I could still do like a couple other routes through. Like Mesa to get Mesa to get Mesa's partners. Like they still need to add Air Canada. I would like to see them also add like minor airlines. Spirit's about to die, so like not Spirit.
Spirit is about to die, and honestly, it's not a bad thing.
But like locking up Frontier, like adding Frontier. It's a domestic airline. It's not a great domestic airline. They're making business plan. They're making changes to their business as well. They're also like preying on Spirit routes the same way that United is. It's slightly funny. Breeze would be another one, but Breeze only values their points at 1 cent per point even. It's not, they're not doing anything to add value to their points or anything like that. Yeah, and the other airlines are making sure they do everything to make sure it dies. Yeah, exactly. So like adding free Spirit miles wouldn't be a good idea, but like Frontier wouldn't be bad. Adding JetBlue wouldn't be bad. Adding like giving some extra domestic options wouldn't be bad. But like,
Matt, we have a new version of your card and it's amazing.
Oh no.
It's truly amazing.
Oh god.
No, this one's great. This one is so good. Pope Onesie 2028. That is absolutely correct.
Hold on.
This is the most important content of the night.
You people. Just how dare y'all? My hair is not that good looking.
I mean, it kind of is, Matt.
Although it's not.
No,
Oswald.
I will absolutely update this. I have to format it before I update it because I've got to make it have a border so we can get the whole card. But this is going up. This is going up later. And yes, absolutely. Go to the Discord, go to stackyourpoints.com. Links to all of the things there. And you can check out membership. You can check out everything else. Matt's channel's there. Lonnie's channel's there. All of that's there. So definitely go do that. But yeah, I like this one. Like this one is perfect because A, you never smile like that. Yep. But B, though I will say, and I don't know how obvious it is. I will say there are two things that bring me the most joy on the podcast. When I get Matt to crack up and when I get Lonnie to crack up. Those are the two. When I say something and I see those two cracks, I'm like, yes, score. I have done well for my moment. Those are my two. And yes, that is definitely AI generated. Graphic design is not that much of Space Ghost passion.
No. Now going back to Mike's point, losing Spirit is a big deal. They're the ones that help keep the air prices down in some of the cities that the legacy carriers try to charge an arm and a leg for. Absolutely. They're the best at it for now. I think Frontier and Breeze and Allegiant can step into that hole. Now they're going to fight amongst themselves in a race to the bottom in some of those locations. But part of what has led to Spirit's demise is being at the bottom. And
yeah,
there's a line where it's no longer profitable, and they were below that line for so long that now they can't dig themselves out of the hole that they're in. Like they just went into Chapter 11 for the second time in 12 months.
You can't really do that.
It's one thing. Like I thought their turnaround from Chapter 11 at the beginning of the year was a little too quick. They don't even have like an Elliott management sitting on their board or investing into them to steal seats on the board like Southwest. Like the Southwest problems are not great, but like Southwest at least has runway to make these business changes. Do I think the business changes that they're going to implement are going to be the best? Not necessarily, but at least they've got runway to play with, whereas Spirit does not. And you've got United jumping on as many of the routes that United can jump on, and you have Frontier just announced a whole bunch of routes as well to take that on. Wasn't anything to do with upgraded points. Frontier adds 22 new routes amid Spirit's ongoing issues. Like, you don't expand 22 routes if you don't think you're putting your foot on their neck.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, Keith, it's so lovely. We're getting flyer protections removed. Fantastic, really.
Yep. Also that. Although I'd rather have Cruz, Mr. Tyler Cruz. No, damn it, I'm blanking on his first name. Brooklyn 99. He's the
Terry
president.
Crews.
Terry Crews. Thank you. I'd rather have Terry Crews sitting there than what we've got now. Atlanta to Memphis, Atlanta to Milwaukee, Atlanta to Nassau, Bahamas, Atlanta to Turks and Caicos, Atlanta to Puerto Vallarta, Atlanta to San Jose del Cabo, Atlanta to San Martin. Frontier is just doing all of the things with these 22 routes. Phoenix to Spokane, Phoenix to Reno, Philadelphia to the Dominican Republic. Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm turning this into a mini tidbits here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. The next year, like 2026 is going to be a wild year in credit cards, in travel, for a lot of reasons. But it's going to be interesting to see how that credit card game plays. It'll be interesting to, like, people can scream and shout about the CSR. They'll scream and shout when the platinum changes happen. If the graphite card comes out, there's a lot of things that people are going to scream and shout about. We don't know the immediate impact. We won't know the immediate impact until 2026 at the earliest, at the very, very earliest. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But it's a fascinating time to have a credit card podcast, Matt. It is fascinating out there.
Yep.
And luckily, we have multiple people with multiple different perspectives, which means sometimes I put a question in for our Q&A section, and I think I know how it's going to go. And then it's a 24-minute discussion on said question. And I'm like, huh, that's interesting. Did not plan that. Cool. Like, it's always the questions I don't think are going to pop off that end up being the longest segments of the night.
And sometimes the funniest.
Yes. Or sometimes the ones I have to cut the most. Depends.
Yeah.
I can promise you guys there will never be a completely unfiltered feed of Stack Your Points. There may be a lightly edited one, which is the members only that you get. That is the full episode. But there will never be a completely unedited Stack Your Points. That is only for us. That is our perk as Stack Your Points hosts, is that little piece of love.
True. Oh yeah, another piece of tidbits here. Emirates is going to be banning kids under 8 from first class on award flights.
Can we just ban kids? Can we do that? Can we just ban kids from public?
No.
Fine. Like, look, I know they have to practice being people. I do. I don't blame the children. I blame their parents. Because they're like, no, listen, Matt. The parents that are engaging and trying are one thing. It's the parents that are sitting there scrolling their own phone where their kid is just absolutely being a menace that makes me want to punt the child and their parents.
Yeah, I only scroll my phone in the comfort of the house. Out in public, I am way more engaged.
Right, but, like, there are just parents that, like, the kid is running around, like, hitting people's chairs, and they're just like, "I'm gonna scroll some TikToks," and I'm like, "I'm gonna throw your child through a wall."
Yes. We need children, yes, but we also need parents to be, like, I don't know, useful.
Yes. Again, I don't want, like, eugenics, but I also think there should be a test before you become a parent. Like, and not a restrict the type of people that have children, just, like, restrict people who are not fit to be parents.
Are you financially capable of this responsibility? Yes? Cool. Go forth. Are you financially responsible to do this? No? You will wait.
Pause. Just pause. Yeah. Hi, kid. I'm sure. Look, I have nieces and nephews. I don't dislike children. I dislike poorly parented children.
Yes. What's the big swing that you keep referring to? Yes. So big swings, Amex. So I thought with so much lead time between Chase announcing the refresh and the overwhelming majority of Sapphire Reserve holders being able to access their new perks. American Express then stepped in and said, "Hey, we're gonna change the platinum." Like, they had an opportunity to work with they had 4 months to work with where they could have done things with the platinum, and maybe they're aiming this more for whatever card may come out above the platinum. Like, if the previewed card that dropped today on their Instagram was a preview of the graphite, or if they're calling it graphite, I don't know, maybe it's graphite. I would prefer Legionnaire, but whatever, that's just me.
Legionnaire would have been great.
Yeah. Legate? No, Legate's stupid.
No, Legionnaire.
Yeah.
That's a bit wordy. Centurion is also, so anyway.
Neither here nor there with those tangents, but like, the big swing that I would have thought that Amex would have done would have been like, oh, you're going to a dynamic point boost. Well, we're going to steal your old gambit that worked, that got a lot of people into your system, and do flat 1.5 redemptions in the Amex portal with points. You're abandoning. City Strat Elite launched with a 1.5 base. Cool. The Amex Platinum now has a 1.5 base. Those would have been big swings for Amex to do. Where, like, the Amex Platinum, the only card you'll ever need, 1.5 base, 5x on hotels booked through, 5x on hotels, 5x on flights. What more could you possibly need? That would have been the big swing. I don't think we're going to get that, but something where, like, they changed the redemptions to bring in all of the people who are pissed off about the 1.5 going away for point boost, and to make everyone who's laughing about point boost, because Chase has presented half a thing. And like, I haven't gone full Toby on Chase for coming to me with half a thing, but like, I very much want to go full Toby with the fact that Chase came to me with half a thing, and like, didn't have the other half of the thing ready to present. And this is a very deep West Wing reference where Will Bailey brings Toby an ad and is like, this is where the Republicans are hitting us on this issue, and this is what the ad is about, and this ad is created for stay-at-home moms. And Toby's like, okay, it's a stupid ad, but you think we need to respond to it? Yes. Oh, okay, so what do you have? Oh, nothing. I just wanted to bring this ad to your attention. Don't come at me with half a thing, is the response that Toby ends up giving, to which Will finally responds, Toby, either get Andy to marry you or kill yourself.
I still think you should have gotten Andy to marry him, but
takes two to tango, and she said no.
I mean, yes, but again, I think the show should have just been like, at the end of the show, she should have just been there in the circle.
I think Richard Schiff has mentioned that like he didn't like the direction that Lawrence and the rest of the executive producers who took over when Aaron left the show. Aaron
Left the
Sorkin left the show.
show, cocaine binge, whatever.
Potato. But a lot of the writing and everything came down to was put on Lawrence O'Donnell, and Toby hated where they took Toby's character because that wasn't the character that Aaron had originally envisioned, what Richard had signed on for. And I think one of the things that in a world where Aaron Sorkin writes all 7 seasons of The West Wing is Andy and Toby do eventually end up back together. And Toby doesn't sell out the secrets that he sells out in season 6.
I hate that plot line. I deeply, deeply hate that. Also, kid, I'm watching the game, so get on my level. I also, I still contend one of the best lines in the show, the best non-political lines in the show, is, if you were hurt, I wouldn't stop for beer. If you were hurt, I wouldn't stop for red lights. Like that was, it was Sorkin, or it was the Sorkin years, but that was also great. Donna breaks her leg or breaks her ankle, and then she and Josh are talking. Because it was such their dynamic at the time. Like, they were very good at like those two just saying absurdly romantic things to each other, and then just being like, bagels. I must have the bagels of victory now.
A drink from the keg of glory, Donna. Bring me the finest bagels and muffins in all the land.
Also, Abby Bartlett telling her husband that he's stupid for a homily that he's quoting or something. And he's like, but I was going to be a priest. And then I met you. And she's like, you're still an idiot. Like, that dynamic was the best on the show.
Definitely. I will say the thing I really like about the portal is the wider availability of room types and rooms in general. They had a huge head start, and they're now up to 3,100 properties. So, yep, if you're a hotel free agent and not chasing status, it's not the worst option. Yes. Or and if AmEx did 1.5 portal. Yep.
Here's the thing, like, if AmEx can do what Chase does, if you're a partner, you can get your status reflected, I think they can win a lot.
Yeah.
Like, that would be great.
Yeah, Vincent Pascal joining us. Thank you. Hey, Vincent. I am also late to the party. No worries, Vincent. We enjoy it.
Matt and I enjoy a show called The West Wing. That is a fictionalized version of politics where none of those people would survive except for maybe CJ in the real world. CJ is the easiest transplant between the West Wing world and the real world.
Leo.
Okay, but Leo is... I don't know if Leo would have been... Leo was Secretary of Labor?
Yes.
Is that the one? I don't know if a Secretary of Labor becoming Chief of Staff in the way he does would work the way it did on that show.
Maybe. I'm more thinking his pragmatism.
His pragmatism, yes. Okay, you give me Fitzwallace. Like, come on, Matt. I meant like the main characters.
Yeah. House of Cards is unfortunate.
If I pretend that most of the things don't happen after season 2, it's great. Like, Robin Wright plays like evil and scary so well. I would not want to get into a argument with her. Like, she scares me, especially with the haircut.
We're very lucky that they killed off Rachel Burshannon's character when they did.
Yes. Also, her as Lois Lane is incredible. Like, her as Midge Maisel and Lois Lane is great. Oh, there's a weather delay in football.
How the hell?
4 minutes and 44 seconds left to go in the third, and there's a weather delay.
At AT&T Stadium?
No, they're in Philly.
Oh, they're in Philly. Well, I mean, Lincoln Financial Field is an open air stadium, so that is
It is in fact
a possibility.
Yeah, and it's like pouring and thundering and lightning.
Yep.
Like I want the West Wing. I both want and don't want the West Wing. I really wish the newsroom had been more AAU and less actual news, because I think that handicapped them in a way that was annoying. And I also hate what they did in the last season.
I don't remember the last season. I'm not going to go back and.
I mean, Leona Lansing is fantastic, but like they just. Sorkin is amazing if Sorkin has some restraint. When Sorkin just goes full Sorkin, it can not be great.
Sorkin is great at writing 3 seasons of television. Sorkin is not good after a 3rd season.
I mean, this was the 3rd season, but you know.
Well, I got nothing then. Sports Night's 3rd season was not very good. But they also were getting the plug pulled on them relatively early. Anyway, that is a very deep reference, and I won't acknowledge what's his name's existence anymore. But anyway,
guys, got any questions related to credit cards?
Yeah. Scrolling all the way back, I kept bringing this up, but we did have one earlier from. Did have one earlier. Hold on. Did you from? I kept bringing it up. Where is it? From Sleepy Rod. Here we go. Sleepy Rod said he didn't get the logic behind adding Resi to the Platinum. It's their platform. Specifically, if I'm getting 1x on dining, but 4x on my gold card, at least the CSR open tables will get you 3x on dining. Doesn't make sense to me. Here's the rationale. AmEx doesn't want you to worry about multipliers. AmEx wants you to spend money, and AmEx would prefer you spend money with as little return to you as possible.
I don't disagree, but I don't actually think that's ultimately the reason.
That's fair.
They own Resi. They own it. It is their platform.
Also
so true. They want you to start thinking about Resi, and the more cards they put Resi on, the more you're going to go to Resi restaurants. Like, that's what they want. So I think that they would prefer you to get a 1x versus a 4x? Yeah, but I think it's more integration of brands than it is that.
Yeah, and like Chase Dining has fallen completely off the rails since Talk was acquired by American Express, and like I'm eventually going to do a video about this, but like Chase for whatever reason wants to mitigate as much risk to itself and like not have there be any risk to itself, and loses out on making a cohesive system like American Express has by failing to do the little things right. Like Amex bought Talk to add into Resi to bring all of those additional restaurants into the Resi platform and continue to build the Resi platform. Chase buying Talk and slapping 10x dining would have made significant, and keeping the 10x dining on those restaurants would have made significantly more sense. It wasn't as big as what Resi is at the moment, but like it's far bigger than the Open Table the deal they have with Open Table. Bringing Open Table into the fold would have made more sense. They have a deal with the Infatuation. Or no, I'm sorry. Chase owns the Infatuation. They don't do increased spending. They don't do increased rewards at Infatuation events or like at EatsCon or anything like that. They don't do anything with the Infatuation other than like Chase Sapphire Preferred and Sapphire Reserve perks at EatsCon and whatever else that they do with the Infatuation. Chase owns Zagat. Like, one of the things Chase could do with the Sapphire Reserve to further increase like the dining capabilities of the Sapphire Reserve is you pay with your Sapphire Reserve at a Zagat rated restaurant, get a certain amount off your bill, or a statement credit for Zagat. I'm not pronouncing it right, but you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Eat at one of those restaurants, get your statement credit there. Eat at one of those restaurants, and instead of 3x dining, you're getting 6x dining, 10x dining. That would have made significantly more sense than what they ended up doing with the open table thing for the Chase dining credit. Losing the 10x capabilities through talk would have been better. Was bad. Like, Chase is on an island right now when it comes to dining. They're trying to refigure it out, but like, they're not even using the things that they own. They don't own their lounges. If the Collinson Group decided to sell the club tomorrow, the bidding war just to steal Chase's lounges away from Chase
would be funny as hell.
Right. Like, Chase should be trying to buy the club from Collinson Group.
I don't disagree.
Years
ago. As far as I know, it's not.
Yeah, no.
At least the rumors. So I think this is a really interesting question, and Keith had his response below. He's never had a problem. It's not that everybody has a problem, right? Like, all you need is 5 to 20% of people having issues for it to be at a tipping point. You don't need it to be always. You don't need it to be most of the time. You need it to be enough people enough of the time where it's a problem.
Yeah. And the fact that City has still yet to invest in proper customer support, has yet to invest in preventing their port fraud policies to continue, especially on a $600 annual fee card, should get called out more. There are people who aren't going to call it out because of whatever reason, because City is far better than Chase, because City has a grocery category. The lack of customer service from City is bad. Like, one of the things that always gets dinged about City is, City customer service, if you ever have to experience it, is the opposite of helpful, right? Chase customer service, not amazing, but like, they'll at least eventually get on the right path, maybe. AmEx customer service used to be amazing. It's still better than the rest, but City did nothing to improve their customer service and launched a $600 card. City did nothing to change their fraud policies and like prevent locked cards. Your $600 card being useless overseas, and like, there's folks in our Discord mentioning it. There's folks on Reddit mentioning like their cards getting locked, and like, this was a meme with City before Strata Elite. Strata Elite has supposedly a better customer service number and experience, and Prestige has a great customer service number and experience. And I'm sure, like, if you call the Prestige line, you have no issues. You get somebody on the first ring. Like, that top tier card, former top tier card, like, has to work. The fact that their new top tier card is not working is a problem.
Like, here's the thing. I have a Platinum, right? I have had to call the Platinum customer service exactly twice. It was flawless. Now, I'm sure there are people who've had bad customer experience with the Platinum, but it's not the regular line. Like, it's just not. And the ability to get that service when you pay for a product like that is very similar to how Kid talks about, when he needs a flight rebooked or he needs something done, as, his AA status will allow that to be a much more seamless experience. So if you're going to launch a card that people are paying that much for, they expect comparable to Platinum, to CSR, to whatever. Not giving them that. It doesn't matter, because here's the thing. It doesn't matter if Keith calls them every day for a month and is fine. All it takes is 3 people to call them and to get bad reps on a line for a card that is that expensive for it to not matter at all how many times Keith called.
Mike says all the dining programs appear to be the same restaurants at some point into each other. There's really nothing distinctive. If you're talking about the ones through Restaurant Network, like the United Dining Program, the Delta Dining Program, the Insert Whatever Dining Program, yeah, there's nothing distinctive there. Some of the point changes can be different depending on if you like make their MVP statuses. But Resi versus Open Table versus whatever, those get a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But the dining credits, like the Resi credit's going to be super easy to burn on the Platinum card. There's a lot of issues showing up on CSR with CSR and the Open Table thing, because one, it's not explicitly clear. Like they tried to make it as clear as possible which ones were Chase Sapphire Reserve dining credit eligible, but if you use tap to pay is showing up as a digital wallet transaction, and Chase is denying them the credit for that. That's stupid. Like, as long as your Sapphire Reserve is registered at that restaurant, give the person the credit. Doesn't matter how they use their Sapphire Reserve to do it. It is obnoxious not to just give them the credit.
Because some restaurants now, like, they just take your card and they're not swiping. They're literally doing tap to pay at like a sit down formal restaurant.
Yeah, so, like they're bringing the tablet over. And
no, I've had them take my card and still do tap to pay at their like kiosk that they have. So it's like, it's not even like you don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. That's obnoxious. Stop doing that. Just give them the credit. Like, they made the purchase at the address that is shown as Sapphire Reserve Dining. Give them the $150. Kid asks, if the AmEx Platinum refresh is too strong, do you think we could possibly see a rollback of some changes such as 1.54, which I think is the business Platinum, so no, or 3x General, the 1.5 for the portal, or 3x General Travel to compete. I think the 1.5 is more likely to come back than the 3x General Travel, because Chase has other cards they could slap the 3x General Travel on to get people to get multiple cards. But I do think that the 1.5 is more likely to come back inside the next 12 months. And I do think the 3x General Travel is likely to come to one of the other cards.
I think it's going to be on the CSP. They're going to bump the CSP annual fee.
Yep, that would make sense. Does Instacart Plus get Peacock? Yes. As long as you have Instacart Plus, you can get Peacock. And now, if you have Walmart Plus, you can choose between Peacock and Paramount Plus. We had Sun Nguyen drop us a $1.99 super chat. Have a good evening. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Don't want to presume. Sorry. But thank you, Son. Shabby Shabby Old Cloak. Sorry. Hi, long-time lurker, first-time commenter. Been thinking about the Delta cards, but can't decide if it's worth it with Albany being my home airport. Not a lot of direct Delta flights. Well, Shabby, thank you so much for jumping in as a commenter. Let me just say, RJ uses Albany as her primary airport. She's fine with her Delta cards. She's rolling in FUDs.
Look, I'm in a part of New York where unless I want to drive to New York City or Boston, where else am I flying out of? Like, I am above Albany. I am not like, oh, I'm 20 minutes south of Albany, or no, I'm above Albany. I live in that neck of the woods. Love it up here, but Albany is my airport. I got Delta cards because I fly through LGA and I want to use the nice lounge. Like, it works great. Like, also, fun fact. So with the companion pass on the Reserve or the Platinum, there are certain codes that it works with. Albany has a crap ton of flights that are eligible for the companion pass. Like, I would say even an above average amount that work with it, because so few people use it from Albany as their starting or ending point. So it makes it, that's at least my assumption, but that's it. Like, I've never been able to, if I wanted to use the companion pass on something, I have never not been able to find a flight that is fitting into my schedule that I can't. Like there's never been I got to move days. I've got to no. There's just a ton out of Albany. So if that companion pass is something that you're interested in, chances are you're going to do it. Like, yeah, but here's the thing with Delta specifically. A lot of airlines don't fly direct to many places with Albany. They just don't. We don't have the size for it to have the long hauls that you need. We can get to Dallas, sort of. Like there is an airline, I want to say it's AA, I think. But like only because the current's favorable, right? Like the air current is favorable for us to make that swoop to get to Dallas. And enough people want to make that trip, right? Like, so if you fly out of Albany, you gotta pick your poison. It's Southwest with the most flights, but you're on Southwest. And then it's AA and Delta basically even. And then in a distant last place of the quote major carriers, it's United. And they have the oldest planes of the carriers that I just listed. So like just pick your poison. If you want to just do Southwest, they've got more options, but you're on Southwest. If you want to do AA, you can absolutely do AA at Albany. Like it's fine. Yeah. But again, you're not going to get to most of the places you want to go out of Albany without a layover. I like LGA. I've never had a problem dealing with LGA as an airport flying in or out of. So for me, that is the easiest option. If I was a United person and had to do Newark, I would make it work, but I wouldn't like it because Newark is Newark. But for me, it works, right? So if you want a Delta card, Albany is not the restriction on that. I have 2 of them. It's fine. Also, Atlanta, the nice thing is Albany does a direct flight to Atlanta. They do many direct flights to Atlanta every day. Once you get to Atlanta, you can go everywhere in the world you want to go. Like, and it's not a long flight. It's 2 hours and change. So like, if you're willing to just go to Atlanta, you can get everywhere from that one hop. And there's a lot of short layovers in Atlanta from Albany. Ask me how I know, because if I'm going anywhere that requires real distance, I just fly down to Atlanta and then go out from there.
Yep. And, depending on how often you fly, take into account that pretty much all of the Delta cards, with the exception of the blue, like any annual fee Delta card will get you free checked bags. Mm-hmm. If you have a family of 4, that's $200 right there. Assuming it's $50 a bag.
Yeah. Also, like, the one nice thing I will say about Albany as an airport is the TSA line for pre-check. It never has a line. Like there is never. I do not roll up an hour before boarding, but I could. Like I absolutely could roll up an hour before my flight, before it boards for first class, and have 0 problems. Like there's just not an issue because of how TSA in Albany works. Also, there's a really good IHG property and a really good Hilton property right at the beginning of Wolf Road, which is like not anything that 95% of you people know where it is. But if you fly out of Albany, you absolutely know where it is. There's 2 hotels. One is IHG, one is Hilton. They're not great, but they're nice in terms of like absolutely stay there if you're flying out at 6 o'clock in the morning and not from Albany and don't want to have to deal with the Northway. So I wish I had more direct flights? Sure, but I like Atlanta doesn't bother me. A lot of people get bent out of shape of flying through Atlanta. I have never had a problem, and I probably do 60% of my connections through Atlanta.
A lot of restaurants have been moving away from Resi and picking up Open Table as their reserve systems. Open Table has made a lot of changes in the last 2+ years. Yeah, and Open Table is probably also not charging an arm and a leg because they are not owned by American Express. And American Express.
But eventually they will. Like, the thing is, they'll get everybody on, get them under contract, and then jack the fees.
Yup. Heard a rooster crowing in the background. Very difficult for me not to laugh. There you go. We'll go back to Kid's question in just a bit. Arnold, okay, cool. No, activate that. Yeah, as long as you have Instacart Plus, you'll get Peacock for free,
Yeah.
P-card attached. I still think the Instacart credit is coming to the Chase to the regular Chase cards. Kirby G, 14 days and still no Aviator Red from Barclays. He's going to give him a call tomorrow. Yep. Would book United flights through Air Canada, but they were somehow $100 to $200 more expensive. They're just usually like more expensive for whatever reason out of Albany. Probably
don't try to go around in Albany. Like, you can do a segment or two if you get really lucky. But just like I've given up. Albany's not made for that, man. Albany's just not made for that. Yeah, Shabby, if you join the Discord, hit me up, because I've had to think about Albany way too much for somebody who doesn't live there.
Yep. Double asked, what are the major circumstances when you prioritize protections over multipliers? I haven't, mostly because like the biggest things that I want to prioritize protections for, one, if it's travel, if it's travel, the biggest thing to look into would be like an Allianz. Like, if you travel a ton and you're really worried about travel and you're really worried about making sure that your travel gets covered, look into an Allianz policy or look into a policy for travel specifically, because while the credit cards do offer a good number, like certain credit cards can offer a good number of protections, the terms on those protections, unless you know them inside and out, like, there is wiggle room for the bank to decline. And as Clinton mentions, Allianz coverage isn't expensive for an annual plan. Yeah, it's about $400, I think.
Also, here's my friendly reminder. You need to read your policies. You need to read your policies. You need to read the protections. If you don't know what it means, that's okay. Ask in the Discord. Like, seriously, ask. If you don't know what a word means, ask. Google it. Like, these policies aren't hard in the sense of, if somebody who knows anything about insurance reads them, they'll be able to help you. But they are important, because things you think are covered probably aren't covered in the way you think, or have a cap on it that you don't know about. So read your policies. If you don't know, there's nothing wrong with not knowing what things mean. No shame in that. Put it in the Discord and let somebody help you. Like, I have a background in things that make it somewhat easy for me to read them. I read all of mine. Like, I do. I know what they mean. I know what they cover. Because if I don't, it's not on them if I think they cover X and they don't. That's on me. I took out the policy. Like, they are legally required to tell you what they do and do not cover. It is my responsibility as the policyholder to understand that. Now, if they don't cover something they should based on policy terms, that's when we have problems. But if it's not in the policy that it's covered, and I think it is because I think this is a nebulous idea of what travel insurance is, that's not their problem. That is my problem. That is fully my problem.
Right.
So read your policies, guys. Read your homeowner's insurance, read your auto insurance, read your umbrella coverage, read your travel insurance, read your policies. Know what they say. I guarantee you it will come in handy at least once in your life.
Yep. So very, very rarely would I do that. Travel protections, I would look into an Allianz policy, just to, dot I's, cross T's. If, my credit card isn't going to cover the thing, as long as I have the Allianz policy, I will have a backup to fall back upon. The other thing would be my Apple purchases. I buy AppleCare. I don't worry about my credit card being a thing to protect my Apple purchases. I purchase AppleCare when I purchase the product. I may not need AppleCare. I may be spending $280 that I'm, depending on the device, I may be spending $280 that I don't necessarily need to be spending. No. When I shatter a phone and only have to pay $29 for my screen to be repaired, instead of worrying about the whatever deductible, and I just bring in whatever, or I have overcharged my battery and I have messed up my battery in some way, I'm covered by AppleCare. I cannot guarantee that my Amex Platinum, with its cell phone protections and its cell phone insurance, will cover my battery because I was a doofus and I overcharged my battery.
I get Apple Care and everything. I also put everything on the Apple Card because I like that 0%.
Yeah,
I do
unless I'm working another welcome offer, then my Apple purchases go on my Apple Card.
Look, I don't care if I'm working a welcome offer. I'm putting it on my Apple Card. It's the one thing that card does well. It's just, it goes there. It's happy. Also, I wish that Apple Card, you could use that UI for everything because it already has the data because it'll show you your purchases. Just let me use that UI for my other cards, please.
Probably coming to chase. Scrolling back, Kid asked a question, and hopefully the bar is not too loud. But Kid asked, how do you expect the Venture X to change over the next 18 to 24 months? Its primary competitors have and are changing rapidly. I don't. Yeah. There's not a whole lot of additional value they can add to the card in terms of multipliers because it's the 2x everything card. They can't really afford to bump it up to 2.5. They are pushing through these changes that require you to spend $75,000 a year or pay additional money for your authorized users to regain their access to lounges. They have always been painted into a corner with that card, and like what will make the Venture X better will be better support cards around it. Like they have a card that gets you 3 times grocery uncapped. They have a card that gets you 3 times entertainment uncapped. They have a card that gives you 3 times dining uncapped. That just happens to be all in one card, and that is the saver card, and that creates your duo. But like there's room for other multipliers and other things that they could do. And they could adventure into multipliers on their business cards because all of their business cards are flat earning rate cards. Doesn't matter what card it is either flat 1, flat 1.5, or flat 2. They could start making their business cards interesting. They could add that Saver X card that is rumored. They could add a card that is travel focused to get you higher multipliers on travel outside of the portal, and be able to pool those miles or cash back over to the Venture X. Like the Venture X is the catch-all. I don't know that they can't keep everything that's on the Venture X on it. Like what else can they add to the Venture X that would justify an annual fee increase?
I mean, they would have to jack up the portal, but I don't think jacking up the portal is going to mollify people. That's the problem, right? Like,
yeah, and they've already limited their travel credit to a portal coupon.
I mean, they could undo that, but I don't see them doing that. I mean, they could do 2x everything and then a limited selection of 3x. Dining, maybe travel, I don't know. Like that card is a problem because it's their top end card. Like they would almost have to put in a card above it to have it work. Like nerf all of the like basically make it the Venture, right? Like maybe downgrade it a little bit, not as much as the Venture, just get rid of the Venture. Make the Venture 1.5, and then put a card above Venture X. Probably rename things, but.
So one of the things that they could do, just kind of spitballing here, they could take, I am loath to say this, but they could take, spend whatever your highest category spend is for a quarter, right? Give you 4x on your highest category spend.
So Amex Business Gold it.
Amex Business Gold it, yeah.
I mean, that's not a bad idea.
your two best quarterly categories and have a cap of like, let's say $3,000. You know what?
No, they'd have to go higher than that.
Let's say your quarterly cap is $5,000. You'll get 4x on your two highest categories every quarter. On $5,000 in spend, 2x flat on everything else. Maybe that helps.
I mean, that at least is interesting.
Yeah. Add and rotating categories like the Chase Freedom Flag.
Not to the top card, though. That's the thing.
Well, that's where the Discover It joining the family is going to play a role. Eventually. Like, I don't know when that's going to happen, but the Discover It will be a card that will feed into Capital One, that will feed into the Venture X at some point. It's not going to be this year. It's not going to be next year. It's not going to be, probably won't even be 2027, but after 2027, like after they have an idea of what they're doing with the Discover Network and start implementing that more and start investing more in that, then you'll probably see it being that rotating option. But you could give it business gold powers now. If you do two highest categories on a customer card. Yeah, but the Venture, like the beauty of the Venture X is like you could do the Venture X as your sole card that way.
They could also just they control the categories. Like it could be like the business gold where its categories not on the Saver.
Other cards, yeah. So it won't be 4x dining, it won't be 4x entertainment, it won't be 4x groceries, but it would be, 4x gas, gas and EV charging, 4x utilities, 4x discount stores, 4x Walmart, 4x whatever, like wholesale. But yeah, so like they'll give you the list of categories and go spend your heart's content, but like it would behoove them to remove dining and groceries and entertainment, just so that like the Saver can survive and the Saver X can survive at a higher multiplier. Double. So are we just stuck with these kind of meh premium cards for the next 3 years? Maybe platinum excluded from meh? Yes, because look at the world around us.
But also, like, are they meh, or are our standards out of whack because we want things that are probably unreasonable?
I don't. So
like that is a genuine question. I am not like prescribing it. I'm asking.
No, I absolutely understand. I think the way that I'd frame that would be, we had it so good for so long that we are keeping our expectations to where they were 5-7 years ago. And the credit card game today is not the credit card game of 5 or 7 years ago. And the credit card game 5 or 7 years from now is not going to be the credit card game today. It may get better, may get worse, but like the heyday of everything, probably over for now. Next couple of years, maybe economically painful. Who knows? So the banks are looking out for themselves first, as they are wont to do in times of economic questioning. Sometimes they do it right. Other times, they exacerbate global collapse.
As banks are wont to do from time to time.
They shouldn't want to do it. They just do it because they're fuck-ups. Want
to do as in like do, not want as in a desire to.
That's fair. Keith mentions that the 95 to 150 cards are pretty decent compared to the ultra premium cards. Yeah, the AmEx Green, really solid everyday card. The I'm not going to put the Sapphire Preferred there. The Autograph Journey, really good $95 card. The Venture is fine at $95. The only problem with the Venture is that the Venture X exists, and the Venture X is a better value prop because it gives you the $300 coupon and the 10,000 points every year. So there's that.
I think so. Here's how I would describe it. I think the I think the lower annual fee cards are better credit cards. I think the higher annual fee cards are better perks cards.
Yes.
Like, I don't have the platinum for multipliers outside of flights and the portal. Like, that's why I have that card. I have the card for the perks, right? Like, I use the card for the 5X or for certain other things. I have the card because of the perks. And I think that's where the stratification is happening, right? Like, if Amex said, all right, we're gonna actually have just 3 cards. Here you go. These are great multipliers and great protections. That'd be awesome. But they want you to have multiple cards for multiple reasons. So I think that's part of the thing is we're wanting these all-in-one cards. We talk about it on the podcast all the time. We all would pay $2,000 for a card that does all of it. And we don't have to juggle. And it does the things we want it to do. So again, I think it's a matter of perspective. I think hotel cards are great. If you know your partners, like I am never going to have a problem with Hilton and IHG. I am set. I am happy. I am locked in. But if you do not care about what brand and just go from wherever to wherever, it becomes a lot harder. Either you have to have all of them at the no annual fee level, or you have to have something like the Green or the Journey, which allows you to get a 3X on it. So it depends.
Yeah. So Capital One's got to be careful with where they make changes, but
I think they're more focused on the Discover network than on making their cards different.
As they should be.
Yeah.
Like that is the smart business play. Like they have to invest hundreds of millions of dollars into that over the next couple of years, probably billions of dollars into that over the next couple of years. And I would much rather them do that than launch bad cards. But if Capital One would give me a Venture X, I'd run a decent chunk of change through there. Instead, I'm just going to throw them in my sock drawer and focus on Chase for now. Yeah, I mean that's fair. It's kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't right now. Like, yes, their approval odds with the Venture X is laughable, but like they've chosen to do this and they haven't touched the card in the last 5 years, and their underwriting policies seem to be able to keep them in a place where they're at least net neutral with keeping the $400 credit that you get every year for holding the card, to a place where they haven't had to drop the 10,000 points. They haven't had to, like, they changed the coupon because the coupon was getting gamed to hell.
Right.
But like they still kept the coupon. They didn't get rid of the coupon. They weren't in a position where they had to kill the coupon. So their underwriting is helping them significantly. So I don't think they want to change. I don't think you want them to change that to add more people getting the Venture X who can't pay their bills. Like those people in the buckets and in the whatever and however else Capital One handles those people, like Capital One knows not to let those people get Venture X's, and Capital One knows not to expose themselves to heavy churners to also upset their underwriting. Like they're making it work, and as long as they can make it work, they're going to do that.
Yeah.
Wells Fargo is killing it by doing nothing. Kinda. I mean, their cards are still good. I want more transfer partners. I want to see more transfer partners. I want to see.
So here's a question for you, Matt, because you talk about this a lot.
Yep.
Do you want to see more transfer partners for the sake of transfer partners, or do you want to see more transfer partners to shut people up?
Yes. Like.
Okay, that's a fair answer. I'm trying to understand.
I want to be able to add more value to the Wells Fargo points that I can earn. Yes, if I decided to do Virgin Voyages, converting over to Virgin Red is super easy. I've got 100,000 points. Like I've got 150,000 points over there banked right now. I can move them to Air France, or I could like play Avios roulette with my 150,000 Wells Fargo points. you know, I can book nice things right now. I can get some pretty banging value with the points that I have from Wells Fargo. Um, I would like to see more. I would like to see more options. I know I'm not getting Hyatt. I know I'm not getting Hilton. I know, but IHG should be available, right? How permissible is Marriott going to get over the next little bit? Like, they're not going to do their cards through Wells Fargo, obviously, but could they look into letting Wells Fargo be added as a transfer partner? Because Marriott seems to play their own game because they are one of the biggest hotel chains in the world. But yeah, could they find more value by adding I Prefer hotels? Could they branch out and do something, maybe not leading hotels of the world? Maybe they could add Shangri-La Circle. That is a high-end thing where they could make some plays there. It would also shut everyone up about Wells Fargo only has six transfer partners, so we can just bypass them. I would love to see them get more just for the sake of more. And I'd love to see them get more so that I can utilize more transfer partners with my points.
I care about 3 total transfer partners, so it blows my mind. It's a geography thing and it's a how you travel thing, right? I am not saying I am correct here. This is not a RJ says that she is right and everybody's wrong thing. But because of how I travel and because where I am geographically, I care about Hilton, IHG to a small extent, but I don't have any Chase transfer cards right now. But I basically care about Hilton and Delta. That's it. That is the list. So for me, it is bizarre the way people talk about I need this transfer partner to do this other. It's just a different world for me. So I am always amused when people talk about transfer partners for Wells Fargo, because I'm if they have what you want, use them. If they don't, use them as cash. There you go.
Yeah, and using them as cash, the only category that they're really not addressing that are addressed sort of everywhere else, not really with Chase, is grocery. Once they get grocery, so many more people will shut up about them. Keith mentioning Wells Fargo adopted a 524 rule. I think they've always sort of had it. Their underwriting is somewhat more conservative, and it has been since the thing, since they got rid of the old regime. But the bigger rule that will cross people up is the one welcome offer every 6 months. It's relatively easy to follow, but they do have a one welcome offer every 6 months, so you do have to keep that in mind. Don't think it applies for business cards, but you can only get one Signify at a time. I think you can only get one Signify at a time if it's associated with a. I don't know. I got to see if I can apply for a Signify with just my social security number. Kirby Geo complain about the Venture X underwriting, but I got to respect it and find opportunities elsewhere. Yep, nope, that's all you got to do. Does Wells Fargo run transfer bonuses? Not, and as Clinton mentions, I don't think they've been in the transfer game long enough for us to know. I have not seen any to date either. But the best that you're going to see is 30% to Air France. They don't have that yet, but when they start doing transfer bonuses, I would assume it's going to be 20 and 30%. Looking at upgrading my Explorer to the Quest next year. Quest is a good card. Quest got better. United did the updates where all of their cards got incrementally worse, except for the Quest that got significantly better. That was weird.
No, I think Delta and United have really good ecosystems for their cards.
Yes,
they're yeah, we would like you to have our cards. We would like you to use our cards. Here are the cards. I would put Hilton in that category too. Hilton's yeah, here you go nuts, stay at Hilton's.
Yeah, Hilton was able to remove priority pass from 3 of their cards, and still didn't significantly drop the value prop on their card to a point where it was oh, you have to get rid of this. As I've suddenly developed the hiccups.
So, James, I don't know if you're listening here because you asked in the Discord, the lives go up on the YouTube channel, but they do not go out on the podcast like feed. So you will be able to watch this again, but you will not be able to like go to your podcast player of choice and hear it.
Could be a perk we had somehow. Anyway.
That would be harder with Podbean, but potentially.
Yeah. Game is about to start up again. Hey, no more lightning.
Yay.
If there was one additional transfer partner you would get for Wells Fargo, Matt, what would it be?
Hyatt. Just
Probably
could
Hyatt.
you imagine how insufferable you would be?
Not as insufferable as Tariq with Hyatt.
No. He's just a Hyatt guy. You would be insufferable because it would bring down Chase.
Oh, like I could easily be like, yeah, the House of Cards is about to fall over at Diamondville. It's not actually going to fall, but like the if Wells Fargo landed Hyatt, like then all of the Wells cards would out earn Chase cards.
Yes.
Using Hyatt specifically, even with Hyatt's recent devaluation, according to Frequent Miler. Even with that, considering all of the 4X categories that Wells Fargo has, all of the 3X categories that Wells Fargo has, and all of the just basic 2X categories that Wells Fargo has, like they would beat, their points would be worth more than Chase. Not significantly more, but enough where it's like, oh, you really should consider the Wells Fargo autograph over the Sapphire Preferred because it'll do these things. It won't give you online grocery. Ooh, online grocery. Although Instacart is a weird, like, awesome play. That would be the only thing. That would be the biggest thing. Hell, even adding a grocery category to a card would just push Wells Fargo into the stratosphere. But like they have 10% back at like Albertsons and stuff like that, which whatever. And Albertsons brands, which include Acme, I think. I think that's right. Whatever. Game is about to start up again. And Arnold has joined Peacock through his Instacart Plus. So there you go. Would you guys say there is a minimum annual number of stays to get into Hilton cards? If it's more complicated than that, no worries. I'm just debating jumping into Hilton. No.
Have you driven past a Hilton? Then you should get a Hilton card.
I think so. Here's how I'll frame this. If you are curious about Hilton, if you drive past Hiltons and you're like, I would like to stay at those, get the Hilton Honors card. It's no commitment beyond a hard pull or a soft pull if you've already gotten your hard pull from American Express. Silver status is just water and Wi-Fi, whatever, but like you have Hilton, you have silver status. Like you don't have to worry about it. No annual fee. The earnings on the card are quite sufficient. Like, yeah, you're going to pay a foreign transaction fee. Who cares? Don't use this card out of the country unless you're booking a Hilton directly, which you'll get a higher end Hilton if you're going to be traveling out of the country anyway. Silver is not going to give you the perks that gold gives you. You can spend your way to gold with the card if you decide to run $20,000 a year through the card. Your prerogative, not mine. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. I have the Hilton Honors card. I got it for the $70K welcome offer with a free night certificate. I was interested in Hilton. I didn't want to commit to the Surpass. I didn't want to commit to the Aspire, but it is a way in. It is the way into Hilton. Hell, I booked a Rove. I booked through Rove. I booked a Hilton through Rove. I knew I wasn't going to get the Elite Night because I didn't care. I already have silver status. But I presented my Hilton card as my incidental card at the Hilton, and they're like, "Oh, do you want your water?" Like, as soon as I presented the card on property, like they were cool with reflecting my status for the stay.
Yeah. And Keith, you're right, but they're more expensive. Like, yeah. I would Probably, like, I think anybody who is Hilton is your first, second, or third option should have a surpass. Like, it's
Yes.
$150, but you get at least $200. Like, if you stay once a quarter at a Hilton, you get, quote, get your annual fee back. Also, like, more people should just go to a local Hilton for a night and just get away from life, because those staycations, man, they're helpful. But yeah, no, I think the surpass, like, if you're somebody who travels enough, if you stay in a Hilton two plus times a year, I think the surpass is worth it. Like, legitimately, because gold status is the sweet spot for Hilton, unless you're me and want the parking.
Yeah.
That was a joke, guys, I promise.
No, those spots are just hilarious. Yeah, I think if you can spend at least a night, a quarter at a Hilton, you're good.
Keith, expecting people to spend $700 for Hilton Gold is ridiculous. Yes, you're locked in, but you're locked in with all co-brands, my dude.
Yeah.
That's the point of a co-brand, except for Marriott.
Yes. I don't understand what Marriott does. Anyway, so I think they're aware and they're trying to do something to lessen the blow. Yeah, no. Well, Wells is aware of their shortcomings on groceries. I just don't think they can add another card that has another no annual fee card that has groceries specifically.
Also, I just did a pre-auth through US Bank, and they did a hard pull.
Nice.
Good job, US Bank. I wanted to see if I could do a pre-auth to get a Smartly card, not because I want the Smartly card, because I want the checking account to be free, so I could just dump in the money from the 2 subs I had instead of using them in statement credit. So I wanted to do a pre-auth to see, and they did a hard pull. Nice. Good job, US Bank. I appreciate that. I mean, I don't super care about hard pulls at this point, but like, I wasn't trying for one.
It's annoying. Yeah, I need to surpass before I go to Japan. Yeah. As for the Hilton points keep losing value, yeah, that is what it is. But
look, I get it, but I do standard rooms, and they've been $80K, somewhere between $60 and $80K for a year and a half plus. So like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I am not looking for the suites, so maybe that's a me thing, but sometimes y'all like get what you want, but you know.
Yeah, I'm torn because like the 60 to 80K is for a night that I can book at 120 cash, and I'd much rather just pay the 120 cash.
Which is totally fair, but there are times in my life where that $120 is more important not to.
Yeah.
Then
I get it. There are just times where I just can't bring myself to do it. What is the earnings on gold, by the way? It's 80%, right?
Yeah.
80%. So it's 12x base with the surpass.
I get 30 on the surpass. It's a combined of like 30.
Okay. Really? Oh, wow. You're spending $400 more for 4 more points for booking Hilton's Direct?
Because it's 80% with the surpass, 100% with the Aspire.
Yeah, but Diamond is way...
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not getting Diamond for the multiplier.
Yeah. Gold is a sweet spot. James Ragland joined us, who also recently joined the Discord, so thank you for that. Got my Hilton Honors card with the 70K offer and the free night as well last summer. I just upgraded to the Surpass, so the 13K my parents spent this year rolls over to the Surpass. Yes, so you are 2K away from another free night. And 2K for a free night, I'll take it. Yup. And the welcome offer on the Honors is, can be as high as the 70K, 70K plus plus the free night certificate on 2K spend in 6 months. They also will usually do like a 100,000 point offer on 2K spend in 6 months. Like, it's a really easy offer to hit.
Hilton is always 6 months. I have never seen Hilton be like, you have 3 months to hit this.
Yeah. So yeah, the Hilton cards are definitely worthwhile. I can't see why you wouldn't go after a Hilton card, at least one Hilton card, and you can upgrade it as needed if you so choose. I think you're better off getting another welcome offer, but
I mean, I think it depends on why, right? Like especially if you have work travel or just a bunch of trips coming up, Hilton points aren't terribly hard to earn.
No.
Like the Hilton Business is also a great card. 5x everything up to 100K.
Yeah.
Gold status. Like that is, if you have a reason to get a business card, that is a very good business card to have.
Yep. Same $200 credit as the Surpass. It's a really...
I have both. I have all of the Hilton credit. I really kind of want it to come to the platinum, and then I can just every 3 months in a thing, I can just do one Hilton stay per card per quarter.
Yep. Yeah, Hilton's one where you don't have to worry about the nights because you can just buy the status and buy it very, like, relatively cheaply.
Hilton is also almost as big as Marriott. Like they're pretty close, especially in the US. So it's like Hilton is just like, stay, like we're good. Like come to Hilton.
Yep. And it's $60 per quarter from Sun. Yep. So $240 Hilton credit. Even better on a $195 annual fee card.
Yeah. And you get the 5x.
Yes.
Which is nice.
And it's 12 or 30 when booking Hilton directly. Like, it's a really simple and clean earning structure.
Yeah. I wish more cards were that easy to math. Yep. Hilton is also like, Hilton is not... There are some partners where you're like, I can see how that's going to change. I think AmEx's partners are just like, no, we are not leaving. You're going to have to kick us out over our cold dead bodies. Like especially Hilton, Marriott, and Delta.
Yeah.
Like, I think Marriott is counting the days till they can get rid of Chase.
Yeah. I'm sort of surprised that they're not exploring ways to break that contract early.
They might be. We just haven't heard it. Lawyer gonna lawyer over some golf or some pickleball.
Yeah, pickleball became the new thing for them.
All right, chat. We're approaching 2.5 hours. Do you have any final topics for us to hear before I go watch football and Matt goes not watch football?
Yeah. The NFL's a racket.
True. Do I care? I do not.
If there was ever an organization that you could truly bring a RICO case against, it might be the NFL.
Yes. Does that change my love for the Packers? It does not.
Well, the Packers are probably the only team exempt from it, too.
Well, not having an owner really does help in that regard, doesn't
it? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Public shares that nobody can get for generations on end. Yep. I used my free night on the Hilton Honors card from last summer for Adam Sandler in Columbus. Yep. In October, do the FNA expiring in November. Yeah, but like... Adam Sandler in Columbus, you were probably staying in Short North or the Arena. Like, if you were staying in the Arena District downtown, there's a couple of Hiltons in that area. There's a couple of Hiltons in like you could go out to New Albany. I don't know why you would, but you could. There's Gahana. There's German Village, Polish Village, the Brewery District, which is right next to the Arena District. Short North. Well, the Short North is like party central for the Ohio State University kids. But yeah, no, there's a bunch of places you could use that that free night award. Pickering and Westerville also come to mind.
To Key's point,
it's because I lived in the Columbus area briefly.
FIFA might be the most corrupt sports organization in the world, and that is a shockingly high bar. I
can do you one better. The IOC.
Those are close. They might be the Misty May and Carrie Walsh Jennings of 1 and 1A. Like, those are really close.
Misty May Trainer. Matt Trainer, one of the luckiest men alive.
Yes. I do. They did it. I want to say he played in Tampa Bay, right? Or Miami?
Miami. Backup catcher for the Miami Marlins. Not well known, not a very good backup catcher, and you marry Misty May because they went to the same college.
Yes, but yeah, I remember watching those two was fun.
Yeah, I love how every guy who has a crush on Livy Dunn is like, "Damn you, Paul Skeens!"
Yeah, no, FIFA is super corrupt. I was covering women's soccer at that point. I remember covering all of that. I do not need to relive those years. Waking up in a cold sweat at 3 a.m. to go cover it was not fun. So the Hilton Business versus the Blue Business Plus, I think, is an interesting thing. I understand why people do the Blue Business Plus. I don't want to have to wait for a bonus. And I understand 4 versus 5 on just flat is not that bad. It's fine, whatever. I get it. I know I'm going to, like, right now, Hilton points are not my primary because I have 800,000 of them. But in a time I don't, right? When I have 150,000, I don't mind just slowly accruing because I don't have to do anything to move them. And even though I have to do something to move it, because on the rare case it takes 3 hours for it to show up instead of 15 minutes, that is annoying to me. I also will occasionally use my Blue Business Plus as my catch-all if I think I might need Delta, because they go both places. So I don't think one is better than the other. I think it just depends on how you use your points. That's my Delta, or that's my Hilton versus BBP.
Yeah. No, that makes a certain amount of sense. And like, yes, you can maximize even more when you do get the bonuses, but like right now they're doing a 25% bonus instead of their traditional 30. And like, is 2.6 versus just getting 5 points per dollar really that big a deal?
No.
It
just depends.
Yeah, like, it's 5.2 versus 5. Sorry.
Right. It depends on what you want to do with it. Right. Like if I wanted to book a trip and I've got a ton of MR points that I have to transfer over, but they're doing the transfer bonus 3 days after I need to book it for whatever reason, like, then I'm stuck. Right. So it depends on how you use it. I like MR points because I can put them in a bunch of places, but I usually pay cash for Delta flights outside of rare circumstances. So I'm less worried there, but Matt, I think we have said all of the things.
I believe we have said all the things for this week. Next week, RJ is just going to be impatiently waiting for when pre-orders open on whatever devices get announced on Tuesday.
So, speaking of Apple,
yeah,
my laptop should be set, unless the only thing that will change that is if they come out with a cellular MacBook Air. They're not going to. Again, I said the only things that will. I did not say it was likely they were going to. That is clarification, Matt.
Yep.
These are the things that will change me doing it. They come out with a cellular MacBook Air. Instant buy. They come out with a Pro version of the iPad Mini. Instant buy. Or they come out with a second gen of the AirPods Max that can fold and turn off. Instant buy.
Yep.
Outside of that, they might come out with new AirPods Pro 3, which depending on how they do, I might get a pair of those and then turn my second set of headphones into a pair for a family member.
Yep.
But those are $200. So we'll see. The watch, maybe. The watch is a maybe. Also, Arnold, it's going to be a good year for it. I would be careful if you're thinking the Air, the rumored super thin phone because the battery life is gonna suck. It just is going to. So the regular Pro really is the sweet spot for most people. I have the Pro Max because I'm blind and I need to enlarge font. But regular Pro is usually the sweet spot. Honestly, the regular iPhone is as good as most people need it now anyway. If you want promotion and the better screen, get the Pro. But we will talk all about that next week. I am warning you now, Matt. I am gonna have thoughts. I'm gonna have feelings. There may be exclamation points used. Monday night, I am gonna be both a kid on Christmas and annoyed at the same time. So we'll see. But I look, guys, we all have our outside hobbies from this. Lonnie and I share a hobby, which is tech. He and I just approach them in very different ways.
Yep. Kid will be joining us next week.
Yay!
Perfect.
Good, because I expected you to be there.
Yeah, so we will have to see what ends up happening. I'm going to tell you this much right now. If there is a Chase deal, it will leak on Monday.
Yes, which was great timing for us.
Yes, great
thank
timing.
Thank you, internet gods, for not having the Apple event on Monday. I need the leak, and then I need the second week of us talking about it.
Yes. And Clinton says just say goodbye. Good night, Matt. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching our usual stream. We started a half hour late, so I do apologize for that. But we will reconvene next week. What am I stupid? We will reconvene next week for Stack Your Live. As always, thank you so much for joining. Check out stackyourpoints.com. Join the Discord. Check out our channels. So you can subscribe to my channel. I'm on my way to 2250, 2300 hopefully, and maybe 3000 by the end of the year. Anyway, we'll see what happens. And Son, we'll have something to talk about in 2 weeks because that is when the AmEx stuff is going to drop. But as always, enjoy your nights. Thank you so much for sticking around with us, and thank you for continuing to support us. We will talk to you later.